Collecting. So in this video, we're going to look at collecting items. So I'm going to have like coins or something on the screen. So as I go along and I'm jumping, I will collect them. Now I know Geometry Dash doesn't have that type of thing, but just in case you want to have that on yours. But first of all, I'm just going to kind of change the layout of this so it kind of has a little bit of more than just a straight flat line. So bear with me a second. Right then. So what I've just done, I've just added, or I copy and pasted my ground and made it a bit smaller. I had ground number one, which is a little bit higher, and ground number three, which is, well, it says one and two there, doesn't it? Where it's a little bit lower than that, so I have to jump up onto this. And the other thing I was doing as well, I was just making sure that each of these had ground set as their tags, otherwise I won't be able to jump off them. And then I was playing around on the player to make sure that he doesn't actually spin when I kind of bump into things. That's what this freeze rotation is. Sometimes it's nice not to have that on, but we'll have a look at that later. And I messed around with the gravity. So the gravity is set as 4, and I change the jumping speed to 15. So the idea is when I jump, I kind of come back to the ground. So I can jump pretty high, but I come back to the ground at a good speed as well. And like I said, that's something for you to play around with if you want to. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to have coins that set up then, so I can collect them and they will disappear. And at some point, we'll have a scoring system on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm literally just going to add a 2D object, and let's have a look. Let's do a triangle this time rather than a circle. And I'm going to change the triangle so it is yellow, and then I can choose what kind of yellow it was. That's pretty good actually as it is. And I'm going to give this the tag coin. Now at this point there aren't any coin tags, so we'll need to add one like we've done previously. So this one's going to be coin, and if I click back on it and then choose coin from there, and I'm also going to add a collider to it. Now this time I'm not actually going to do a box collider. I might actually just type in collider. You can see there are all loads of different types of colliders. So a box collider wouldn't work very well on this because it's a triangle shape. So let me just click back on that again. So this time I'm actually going to use a Polygon Collider. And what that does then, if I actually double click on the triangle, then you can see that the collider actually goes around the shape perfectly. So that's actually a good collider to use on most things anyway. So it's worth having a look at that for other things you add to this as well. So I'm going to double click on main camera, go back to this, and I'm actually going to keep it where it is for the time being. The triangle, where it is, I'm actually going to call it coin as well, so we can see, identify it a bit easier on the side. And the idea is on the collider, we have to tick as is trigger. If you don't tick this, then when we bump into the player, then nothing will happen. We'll just travel through it. We won't actually make it disappear, that type of stuff. Now, on the player, we're going to add another script. So we've already got movement, but we're going to add another one, which is going to be called collecting. And you can call it what you want, but that just makes sense to me. So it's going to be a new script. We're going to create an ad. It'll appear down here. And like before, when we actually click on it, we can see it gives us the standard things we expect to see. So if I double click on it and let it open up in Visual Studio, and I'm going to go and have a look at what I need from here. So actually, I'm only going to need these parts. So I'm going to copy that. And on this, then I'm going to get rid of all these bits. And I'm also going to get rid of those top 2 lines. At some point we will need those on other scripts, but not in this one. And I'm going to paste that in. And basically all that's saying is, if we come in contact with something which has got the tag coin, then that is going to get destroyed. So the coin will disappear. So if I save that, and I go back on to Unity, we later just double check there's no errors, and there shouldn't be. Like I said, it shouldn't have a red error message down here in the corner. And the idea is now, as I go along and I press jump, when I come into contact with it, it disappears, and you can see it disappears over here as well. So the idea will be, rather than kind of having to do that over and over and over again, I'm actually just going to copy and paste and put this in various places, like so. So the idea is I like actually teaching people how to play my game. So I've got a coin on the ground and they're going to need to jump to get that one. And these will disappear as well. And then they're going to need to jump to come down to that one. And what I could have done up there, if I wanted to do like a double jump kind of facility, and that's something we can look at some point, we can have it so another one so it's a little bit higher so people kind of learn how to double jump. Now, as you notice, I've got quite a lot of triangular coins on mine, and I'm going to stick with that because I like this idea of you got to collect all the coins, get a maximum score to be able to progress onto the next level. But that's how you get items to be collected. Next video, we're probably going to talk about how to add some sound effects in, and then after that, we're probably going to have a scoring system on the board, which will then keep account of what it is we are collecting as we're going along.